Well, good day, subscribers, and welcome into a segment I like to call Jeremy's Story Time, where I take you back in time to look at a stock, today a very small company named Amazon.com, and we're going to ask ourselves, how did a stock like this go from under $200 a share to $2,000 a share in a 6-year time frame? And most people have no clue on how this actually happened, how this went ahead and went down, okay? I'm going to go ahead and fully disclose how this actually happened. I think this is really beneficial, not for like looking at Amazon stock, but for actually eyeing future stocks that have something really exciting going, that, you know, a business model that might be disrespected in the short term actually turns out to be huge in the long term, okay? So once again, Amazon stock, you could have bought this stock in 2012 for under $200 a share, okay? Amazon was trading under $200 a share in 2012. Most of 2012, you could have paid $200 something dollars for that stock. And then we fast forward to 2018, and it's a $2,000 stock, a 10x in literally a 6-year span. How in the world does a move like that happen? That is absolutely incredible, okay? Now, I would bet any money that if I asked the average person, why did Amazon stock 10x from 2012 to basically 2018, why did it go up that much? The average person will say, man, it's because of that retail business, right? They got all those warehouses, their retail business is so big. That must be why the stock 10x over the course of that time, right? That's why Amazon stock went up so much, right? And I can tell you, if you believe that, you are 100% incorrect. The retail side of their business has been baked in for quite a while, okay? The retail side of their business, as soon as like pretty much around 2010, 2011, especially 2012, like by that time, most of Wall Street like understood Amazon's retail opportunity was going to be among the biggest opportunities, if not the biggest opportunity in retail in literally the world, okay? Like most folks understood that. It was going to be like them and Walmart probably like the two biggest retailers in the world. Amazon had clearly already won the #1 spot in e-commerce retail. E-commerce continued to grow into the future. So everybody and their grandma pretty much on Wall Street understood Amazon's retail business and their retail opportunity by 2012. So a lot of that was already baked into the stock. But they started a very small business in 2006. And this business was never looked upon, it was never respected until pretty much after 2012. Okay, there's a small business they started called Amazon Web Services. They started this business in 2006. Okay, now once again, this business was like no one paid attention to this business for the longest time. There were a few bulls that did pay attention to Amazon Web Services and did talk about their opportunity in the future. Jeff Bezos had mentioned it in a couple interviews and things like that in the past on their opportunity when it came to Amazon Web Services. I remember there was a quote, you know, it was many years ago now, and that he said something like Amazon Web Services could be maybe even bigger than the retail business. And people are like, what is he even talking about? This guy's crazy or something, okay? And so it was a small business called Amazon Web Services, and it got no respect for the longest time, okay? From basically 2006 to 2012, Amazon stock rose quite considerably. It made about a 4 or 5x move, but that was on the back at that time, that was on the back of the retail business. Basically, 2006, you go back in time, Amazon.com was basically this thing that was, you know, they said was burning money like crazy, and a lot of people weren't sure if that was just going to be some niche thing. But then you fast forward to like 2012, and most folks had already understood, like, no, this is for sure, because the numbers could just continue to grow like crazy. E-commerce numbers continue to grow like crazy. Amazon was the #1 player in e-commerce. So from 2006 to 2012, that whole stock price move there was 100% because of the retail side of the business and people realizing like how big the opportunity was on the retail side of the business. But this Amazon Web Services, it was never talked about really. It was like completely forgotten about, okay? And then this little teeny business grows into a Goliath giant. This chart shows you the annual revenue of Amazon Web Services from 2013 to 2018. And what we can't even see is how small the numbers really were back in 2010, 2011, 2012. The numbers were teeny tiny, okay? But look at the catastrophic growth from 2013 to 2018, from a business that was doing just over $3 billion in revenue in 2013 to now over $25 billion they just did in 2018. Absolutely unreal growth that most folks out there on Wall Street did not give Amazon any credit for, did not foresee as being as big of a business going in the future, okay? Amazon had this business, like you could have researched it, they knew about it, they would talk about it from time to time, like it was there. Anybody could research this business for the longest time. People chose to just give it a blind eye or just didn't have the vision for it. And then all of a sudden you see the numbers and it gets impossible to ignore it. And that's how you get Amazon stock to go up 10x in literally about a 6-year span, okay? And the best thing about Amazon Web Services is that it's not like the growth is done with this business model or anything, okay? Amazon Web Services, this was the latest quarter. They just grew revenue 41% for the cloud computing division, okay? Sales at Amazon Web Services rose to $7.7 billion from $5.44 billion a year earlier, okay? Unreal numbers this business has been putting up, okay? And that might not even be the best part of Amazon Web Services, the fact that revenue is growing so substantially. But then you look at what it's doing for profitability of Amazon stock, and your mind is just simply blown, okay? A year ago, EPS was around $20. However, this year they're expected to do over $27 of EPS, a massive move upward there. And then next year expected to do over $38 in EPS there, and I wouldn't be surprised if those numbers were actually a little low, okay? This is a perfect example of a business that was inside of a business that most folks did not foresee being even close to being as big as it was. Most people didn't pay attention to it. Even, nowadays, if you're looking into Amazon stock, it's impossible to ignore the Amazon Web Services business. Go back 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and most folks that were looking into Amazon stock did not have the vision to see where Amazon Web Services was going to be able to go over time, okay? Now, this is not the only stock we have a situation kind of like this. We have a somewhat similar situation with a stock named NVIDIA. NVIDIA was a stock that basically did nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing for about 7 years, okay? NVIDIA was a stock that literally went pretty much nowhere for 7 years, all right? This was a stock that in that time frame, Jensen, who's a CEO over there at NVIDIA, he would always talk about, how GPUs were going to be the future and how they could do all these, unbelievable things, and how, it was just a matter of time till things started to work out and whatnot. And you can go back and watch tons of interviews of Jensen back in the day, basically, prior to the period when the stocks just started going crazy, which was essentially is the end of 2014, then moving into 2015, 2016, 2017. And he talked about this whole wave that was going to be coming for GPUs in the future and how NVIDIA was going to be at the forefront of that. But for 7 years, no one cared, no one paid attention. Everybody just didn't have a vision for it or whatever. And then obviously we look at NVIDIA's stock chart, and in literally just a few year span, like a 2-3 year span, the stock goes from like a $20 stock to near approaching $300 at its highs. Okay, even now after NVIDIA's huge stock crash over the past 6 months, the stock is still at $154, $155. And keep in mind, just a few years ago, this was a $20 stock. These are two perfect examples, two slightly different examples, but of business models a company had that just people didn't see. Amazon starting Amazon Web Services, no one foresaw, really, or most people. There were some bulls that foresaw how big the opportunity was for Amazon Web Services, but most folks did not foresee how big that was going to be. GPUs and NVIDIA's opportunity in the space and how they could be into all these different products and artificial intelligence and robotics and all these things in the future and high-end computing. Most folks just didn't have the vision for that at that time, even though they had proven so much, and that you didn't get that stock to move for 7 years, okay? And then the stock just goes crazy. So here's the thing. If you want a big opportunity, okay, and you want to every once in a while buy something speculative, if you want to buy something speculative, you better be buying something that has massive opportunity. You want to be looking for something that has something special underlying in that business that makes you say, This might make this business model really special in the future. This might be something no one's paying attention to right now, but has the chance to fundamentally transform a company, okay? And so if I think about, the speculative stocks out there, there are a few that come to mind, but there's one in particular that has such an unbelievable thing they're doing right now, and literally everybody is turning a blind eye except the Tesla bulls, and that is autopilot, okay? Autopilot is one of the most amazing creations we have seen in modern history. The autopilot is not new, and it's been around for a few years now, and it's basically gotten no respect from Wall Street. You can watch videos on YouTube, or literally just actually, test drive a Tesla or something like that, put it on autopilot, and you will be, you're going to be flat out amazed. It's going to be one of the most amazing experiences you could ever possibly have in a car, okay? But literally, if you don't have time to test drive a Tesla, or it's unrealistic, or you don't know anybody that owns a Tesla, just watch YouTube videos on how unbelievable the autopilot system is. And this is a business model inside of Tesla that is being completely disrespected, that no one is paying attention to outside of the most core loyal bulls. And no one's even factoring in, other than the super Tesla bulls, like how big this business opportunity is going to be in the future, and how this can fundamentally change the entire transportation system. The same way Amazon Web Services has completely changed, cloud products, or NVIDIA with their GPUs has, completely changed what computing is and what people kind of think about computing as and things like that, right? Autopilot system is shipping in vehicles today. It does miracles today. Like you can literally just go on YouTube and watch countless videos on what these systems can do. And no one has paid any attention to this for the most part on Wall Street. You look at Tesla over the past 5 years, and it is a stock that has done absolutely nothing. It's another NVIDIA stock, essentially. NVIDIA stock didn't move for 7 years. And here we are with Tesla stock, hasn't moved in 5 years. It's gone up, it's gone down, but it hasn't literally gone anywhere, okay? And this is what happens sometimes with stocks, in particular business models. And so when I'm looking at something I want to play as a speculative company, I want something that's going to give me the opportunity to 10x my money. And if I look at what Tesla's doing with their autopilot systems and what they're going to be able to do with autonomous vehicles in the future, it is such a massive opportunity that it's so worth me personally taking the risk on it, okay? Now, some people are putting all their money in Tesla. That's super risky. You can do whatever you want to do with your money, but that is obviously super risky because there are risks involved with every stock. I wouldn't feel comfortable being all in any stock out there. I like to be diversified nowadays, okay? My days of going all in on 1 or 2 or 3 stocks are long gone. That's way past me now. I like to stay diversified. But when I'm looking at speculative opportunities that are absolutely on a whole other scale, an Amazon Web Services type opportunity, I look at Tesla's autonomous opportunity there. Everybody knows about Tesla's electric vehicles. That's what everybody pays attention to. And all the bulls and bears, and everybody gets caught up in what numbers Tesla's going to put up in electric vehicles. And what everybody's not paying attention to is autonomous opportunity, which is beyond an insane opportunity. It's literally an opportunity that could be worth hundreds of billions, if not $1 trillion+ in the future. And almost no one's paying attention to it, okay? Almost no. It's just like Amazon Web Services when no one paid attention to that. And it was like, Amazon's got this thing and it's growing and it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing, and no one cared. So that's my opinion on this little story time where I try to talk about a stock from the past, bring it into a stock in the future, and kind of talk about, just the fact that people, sometimes don't foresee these opportunities, and they have years and years to see it, and it's not seen. And then when it is seen, the price action is ridiculous, okay? Look at Amazon stock, look at NVIDIA stock, look what happens to some of these, okay? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up button today. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.